Hi, my name is John Block, and today on this Band America special, let's talk a little bit about all the craziness happening around the country of Brunei, which is a southwestern Asian country, and it's run by Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah. And this radical little country just announced that it is invoking laws that call for the stoning of adulterers and gay people. So this is quite a radical stance, and it's a terrible thing when people in a country cannot live under their country's laws in harmony with themselves. And this is, I condemn adultery, everyone can as well, but also making it a crime punishable by death is quite frankly unacceptable. And I think anything to do with radical laws like this should be disavowed as soon as humanly possible. This is not okay. This country is not doing what's in the best interest of its people, and it is quite frankly hatred and violence towards people who have nothing to do with murder. They're not doing anything wrong per se, especially gay people in this country. But the radical Islamic laws that are coming into place are really driving this hateful ideology. And you can see here, there's an Al Jazeera article here that I have right here. And it talks about what's happening in Brunei. But you can see how it brushes right over all the bad things that are happening. And instead, let's just listen to this headline. It says, Brunei enacts new penal code as Sultan calls for stronger Islam. New penal code imposes death penalty for rape, adultery, sodomy, robbery, and introduces public flogging. You don't see anything talking about the persecution of gay people in Brunei, in this article from Al Jazeera. And you see how the state-run media in these radical Islamic countries are really driving this hateful ideology. And if you see what the United States is saying, the State Department is decrying this disgusting and terrible action by saying, the United States is concerned with Brunei's decision to implement phases 2 and 3 of the Sharia penal code. So this is Sharia law, guys. This is Sharia law. And as we've talked about in other videos, Sharia law is not the nice little ideology with people having head coverings and walking around in peace and happiness. This is a radical example of how women, gay people, and just about anyone who doesn't agree with radical Islamic tendencies is persecuted and put into a very dangerous situation. Like this radical country with this really insane man, Sultan Hassanal, or whatever the hell his name is. They're really doing it big time, I guess. They're really just going at it and trying to persecute as many possible people as possible and be as hateful and radical Islamic as possible in order to try and discredit regular people like you and I who live in this country, and trying to turn us into some kind of bad guy if we don't submit to this radical foreign ideology. It's crazy. So, but if you look back in 2013, guess who had him at the White House? President Barack Hussein Obama said, "Oh, come on over, radical, whatever his name is, Hassanal Bolkiah." And he had a nice chat with him. He was so happy to bow down and to let this guy into his house and have a jovial conversation with him. And look at what he says here. President Obama must have been in a particularly good mood Tuesday morning after meeting with Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah. Judging by the number of jokes he cracked during the brief joint appearance with reporters, here are the highlights. Since Hassanal Bolkiah has ruled Brunei since 1967, so this guy's a dictator, Obama made a point of noting that he has served alongside 9 U.S. presidents. I won't ask him which one was his favorite. You see how this is a problem? You see that President Barack Hussein Obama, excuse me, he is being jovial with this man. He's being okay with this guy. He's letting him into the White House and saying, oh, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Come on over. Let's just chat about how you flew your Boeing 747 into the White House lawn by yourself. That's cool. Well, yeah, it's cool that he can fly a plane, but it's not cool that he's oppressing his people, and Barack Hussein Obama should have known this when he let him into the White House, of all places. And, you see, he's just buddy-buddy with this guy, buddy-buddy with this radical Islamic extremist leader, and people like this should not be setting foot outside their homes, much less be running countries. And this is disgusting. And you can see Ted Cruz here. He's condemning this barbaric Brunei law, punishing homosexuality with death, he says. This is wrong, it's barbaric, America should condemn this immoral and inhumane law, and everyone should be united against it. You see, Ted Cruz, the conservative Republican senator from Texas, he is stronger on this issue than Barack Hussein Obama. And he agrees with me on many things, especially on social issues, and you can see how the Republicans were really stepping up to fight this. But look at our best friends over there in the House. Representative Tlaib, Representative Omar from Minnesota. And you know what? They haven't said a peep about this. They haven't said one word about how barbaric and how disgusting Brunei's laws are. Not one peep from these radical Islamic women that have been elected to the United States Congress. These people, they're not talking about it. They don't give a damn about civil rights and human rights in these radical Islamic countries which practice Sharia law, the same laws that Omar is practicing, but that is not okay. We can't talk about that because, oh, well, it's offensive. Well, you know what's more offensive to me? Having women, children, and minorities getting thrown off of buildings and having their heads chopped off because some idiot commie wants to ban people from living in a country that he's in. And it's terrible that they're doing this to these people. And I think it is just sickening that these Democrats, mainly Democrats, they sit around and talk. They're like, oh, we're for civil rights, we're for LGBTQ, or whatever the next letter they're gonna add to it is. But at the end of the day, they don't give a damn about the actual people who are being oppressed by this radical philosophy. The only thing they care about is getting reelected, and they don't give a freaking dang about these people who are literally dying and being stoned to death in Brunei and other radical Islamic countries just because it doesn't fit in their little political box that they've made that they can use to get reelected. Because right now all they care about is the border, and they're saying, oh, Obama was such a great man, and he did such wonders for the migrants with DACA. Yeah, well, he also detained a majority of the illegal aliens that jumped over this country, more than any other president in history until President Trump. And Barack Hussein Obama, who is one of the worst leaders ever, had Brunei, this radical Islamic terrorist, in his White House. That is not acceptable. That shouldn't be held to account to be okay. And at the end of the day, you see that these radical people on the left in the Democrat Party, all they can do is just babble on. Oh, Omar just tweeted, Trump is racist for building the wall. You know what's actually racist? Tlaib, your hateful, anti-Semitic, and homophobic jargon that you've been proposing upon the people of this country just because they don't agree with you. Calling Israel citizens Benjamins and saying that Allah should shine over Israel, that is hate. That is hateful ideology. And I condemn you, Ilhan Omar. I condemn you, Rashida Tlaib, or whatever the hell your name is. You people are the problem. You people should be eradicated from the earth. We are trying to save civil rights for all people, including gay people, for eternity across the nation and across the world, including Brunei with this freaking idiot. And I think it's a disgrace that you're allowed to sit in Congress and pontificate to us about how we're not good enough when you're the one who is submitting to a radical ideology that calls for the destruction of Israel and for people to be thrown off buildings because you disagree with them. You're a disgrace, and I hope that you pay for it. So at the end of the day, this guy should be locked up. This guy should be stoned. This guy should be hung like Saddam Hussein, and that would be perfectly fine with me, alongside a few other of these radicals. And I think it's important that you, Rashida Tlaib, and you, Ilhan Omar, stand in front of cameras like this one and talk to your constituents and say, I condemn these people and I do not submit to this radical ideology. I think that would be a great idea. All right, well, this was a Banned America special. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.